Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. Do subscribe and hit the notification bell if you'd like to know of me doing more videos. I'm doing them weekly on 101 topics like this. And let any friends know if you have someone else that's like, I'm desperate. So today our topic is going to be how to get more connection, heart-to-heart connection with your child, especially the one that's difficult in the family. But that goes to any child. So today we're going to look at why. Why is my child so difficult? And then what can we do to get ourselves back to our heart, get them back to their heart, and hold space for whatever else is going on around, if they're triggering other people or whatnot, how you can be that advocate for them to shine into their highest light rather than staying in this interesting position as the child that is difficult. So let's look at why. Spiritually, we're going to zoom out and we look at their soul contract. By default, you can see they're a button pusher. And that means they're here to push the shit out of us. So the parents, could be siblings, teachers, whoever, they're here to bring us tricky times to say, what are you going to do about this? Are you going to let go of your emotions and your stress that is there from the past to, possibly way back when we were tiny? And can you hold me in your highest regard? Even when I'm really triggering, can you still try and aim for that heart-to-heart connection? So the big part is in holding space for ourselves as mums. We're not perfect. We're not supposed to be. We're supposed to go round and round and learn our lessons and let go of our stuff, offload all our emotional stuff as we go, so we get lighter and clearer. And every time we have a big release of our own emotions, we crack open our heart that little bit more. An extra crust comes off, which then helps you to hold a better space for your child as they're going through their stuff. So the point being is that we have certain actors in our life who make our life tricky, and it doesn't have to just be our children. And so some people ask me, well, what about a stepmom? It's the same thing. In the stars, in the soul contract, whoever has come into your life is there for a reason. It doesn't matter about bloodlines. They've come in for some type of reason, and so the triggering ones are there to say, what are you going to do about your own stuff? So typically we respond back with what I call monkey mind behaviors. We might yell at them, rant at them at lecture, give them a consequence, do something that's fear-based. And that's really catching ourselves to go, is my action and behavior in response to what they're doing fear-based? And if it is, it's not letting me get back to myself and let go of my stuff, which is coming back into my heart and going, I'm just really frustrated. And actually this frustration is from my day or my work, or from when I used to get treated like that as a child. It's actually not got anything to do with you, my beautiful child. So that's one part. But then the other part is, okay, so how are you going to hold space for them when this happens? So you're going to offload your stuff, but if you're holding on to all your stress and trying to hold space for them, it won't happen. Your child cannot come into their heart until you've come into your heart. So if you can go over to them and say, hey, looks like you're really frustrated today. Is that why you hit out at your brother? And they go, oh, yes. And, you open it up. What happened today? Or actually, I've been seeing, this is when we start to tune even more. You already know what's going on for them. I've been seeing you gotten frustrated when dad's not responding to you lately when you're trying to tell them your stories. That's building up, isn't it? And then you've gone and exploded at your brother. I get it. And they go, uh-huh. And they come back into their heart quite quickly. And them coming back into their heart means that they know what to say, what to do, what to think, all the actions from their heart. We don't need to teach or show them. They just know what to do when they're in their heart, like we do. If you're in your heart, you do the most beautiful things. And so that's the ultimate aim, is just insisting on getting your child back to their heart, which then brings up, okay, what is my vision for my child? If my child's a really rough child, that's not what I want in my reality. I am holding the vision in my reality. My child is a really sweet, beautiful, child, boy, girl to other friends. And so then you start to hold a different vision, which then gets the whole universe swirling in a different way. But when we keep replaying that story of, oh, they're so aggressive and, oh, we can't do anything because they're so rough, and basically working our life around it, that's all we're thinking. My child is a rough child, and we're continuing that story. So then that's what keeps playing out by law of attraction. So you really have to do the light work, I call it, in calling in the higher vision, virtually the flip of what they are. If they're rough, okay, I want them to be, or see them being, much, much more soft and gentle and really holding on to when you do see that, because obviously a lot of the time they're not always rough, but our monkey mind wants us to see the problems as opposed to what's actually good. So really seeing them in their highest regards when they're, you know, being soft and gentle. Look, this is you. This is your true essence. This is you. The other stuff is your monkey mind stuff, and it's only your behaviors because of the stuff, the stress that you're holding on to. And so then we get on to, okay, what's the stress that our children are holding on to? And this is a big one, to be brave enough to look at that. Many families are sweeping the elephant under the rug, literally to go, I'm not going to look at that, you know, whatever happened in the child's life. And this can go back to even in the womb, but then beyond, that gave them that and that crust or armor around their heart. And as soon as that happens, well, then they go forth as a different child, acting from their fears as opposed to from their heart. So it's really acknowledging that and going back to that. And the inner work for us as the parent who's been the observer, sometimes the player outerer. For example, you know, I will admit it, go past my monkey mind to say when I wasn't so awakened and I had so much rage coming out when my son was 3, it would trigger me and I would smack him. And so then I had to go, wow, I have set up some of this crust around his heart. And that's not an easy thing as a mother to do, is to actually admit it and go past your monkey mind to go, yeah, wow, look at this stuff that I've done. And even just the yelling, the lecturing, the insisting on you must do this and whatnot, sneaky control, which is the next step up in seeing all of that stuff too. This is the stuff our children keep putting crusts around their heart on. And so when we spend that time in the inner work to let go of this guilt, let go of this feeling of, oh my gosh, how dreadful, and I'm not the perfect mum and all of that, we let go of that energy and our child's like, oh, finally, you know, she's actually just let go of it. And when we let go of stuff we're holding on to, energetically, it shifts our children as well. Like a little cog turn back into their heart. It might not be super obvious at the start, but the more you do, the more they start to reflect that. So that's kind of 2-for-1 work in itself, by always you coming back to yourself first. It's like we're in a reality here. You are by yourself. Everything else is just the reality that's playing out as to what you're thinking and feeling and believing on the inside. So once you get free of that guilt, then you can go forth to go, right, I'm free of my shit. Now I can be more present and more heart-centered. When you do something, I'm holding you in that highest regard. So I'm like, that's not you when you go and do that rough behavior. What's going on? There's obviously some stress that's coming up and your monkey mind's just playing that out. So then you start to hold space from the heart for your child. More quickly, they come back into their heart and they go, yeah, I know, I felt really worried since XYZ happened. And you can go, okay, and you facilitate them to let go of their emotions. If they can, at least talking out is, you know, the first step. And that's them freeing themselves too and coming back to their heart. So you're basically pulling them back to their heart every time something happens. But the interesting thing is then you still need to deal with the scenario. So if they've been rough with their sibling, you still got to deal with that to go, okay, look what happened. Look at your brother. Look how hurt they are. You've smashed their Lego, or, you know, you've literally hit them. When you are gentle and in your heart and you're showing them with your energy that there's nothing wrong, they've just acted from their monkey mind because of the stress that they carry, which is half of everyone else's fault who's leaked their stress onto them. They go, there's no worry here. And they automatically come back into their heart and they go, oh, wow, I'm really sorry. And they offer the most heartfelt apology, the most heartfelt remorse and, you know, actions from then on with their brother or sister or whoever it is, because they've been allowed that chance to come into their heart. But when we come at them from that monkey mind place of you've done the wrong thing and, oh my gosh, I can't believe you did that. And this is so frustrating. This is too much. And all of those things that we are human and we do bring, you can see though that energy automatically makes them contract even more. I've done the wrong thing. There's something wrong with me. And when they go out into the world as this, I've done the wrong thing, there's something wrong with me, you can see how then that attracts all sorts of stuff, say at school in their day, the child that gets picked on, the child that is very unsure of themselves and doesn't trust themselves because they don't have someone else holding that space for them as well. So big stuff as mothers, particularly, to insist, even though I get so angry and frustrated, I could kill my child when they do certain things, I really have to insist on holding that heart space with them, that heart connection, seeing them their highest light, and seeing all the other stuff, the monkey mind behaviors, as literally a reflection of their stress inside, as this lovely light of love that's come into the world and then had everyone's fears plonked onto them. They are only responding from that. And so that brings us more compassion to our children. And then we start to see it as the more we let our own stuff go, we start to go, well, heck, that was me as well. I had all this stuff come onto me, so I need to have compassion for myself as well. And then you are coming from your hearts more and more and more. And as I was saying, the aim is then, even if and when, because we're not perfect and shit still keeps coming at us for us to release our stuff from the past, you can come back to your heart much more quickly. And that's the aim, so that we don't then live our life in these fear masks and filters that makes us do all sorts of things. And the next thing, we become a person who we're not our true essence. So I hope that helps. Please do let me know in the comments. I'm very interested to know, what are the triggering things your children do? Because there's all sorts of different things, and I'd have to talk, basically a separate talk on each one, because there's different fears behind each one. So let me know, because I might do some of those in coming videos each week. But yeah, do subscribe if you'd like to know more. Each week I'll be putting up a different video. Super cool to have you here, and do come to my New Children Healing Sanctuary if you'd like. It's at my website, HeidiHosking.com, and that is the space where we are coming together to say, yes, we're doing this as a practice. We're coming together as a community to support each other. I'm not saying no to men, even if they feel to come into it. And we are co-creating this movement together. It's a movement of, okay, we're going to flip this world, and we're going out in a different direction than the fear-based stuff that we're used to. And we are going to rub off on each other to show the results, to say, wow, look what my child's doing now. Look where they've come from. And that's my story, is having flipped, my child from ASD, ADHD, food intolerances, couldn't sleep, skin issues, and all of that, to, wow, he's, we're way, different people, him and myself, because we've worked through our fears, the whole family. But yeah, we're completely different, and we're going out on a different trajectory into the future because of that. So what you do today literally puts you on a different timeline out into the future in a better way. So keep making those awesome choices to assist. I want heart-to-heart connection with my child. Yeah, and I'll see you again next week. Bye.